All right. How's everybody doing today? Good, good. I'm really excited to be here. I'm really excited to see all you guys. And before I really get into my presentation, I just wanted to take a minute to thank Sarah and everybody at the Specialty Food Association for giving me the opportunity to be here in front of you all today and share our story, our mission, our goals with you all. I'm so very grateful to be here. I know you guys have a lot to do today. It's a packed schedule, so I'll get right into it. As she said, my name is Maxfield Kaniger. I am the founder and executive director of an organization called Kanbe's Markets. Our goal is to eliminate food deserts, and we do that by helping small mom and pop corner convenience stores in these communities sell healthy food. So right now, as I see it, these are two of the biggest issues with our food system. And that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. I mean, we hear these numbers, the 42 million people across the country that don't have consistent access to fresh, healthy, and affordable food, and yet we're throwing away millions of tons of food every year. It just didn't make sense to me that these two main issues seem to be able to kind of fix each other. And so that's kind of what we're doing. And for my presentation, I'm going to stay focused a little bit on Kansas City, where I'm from, but the model is something that we want to design that could be replicated in any city across the country. In Kansas City, this is kind of what hunger looks like. We see numbers like the 350,000 people, or the 1 in 7 of everybody that lives in Kansas City that doesn't have access to fresh, healthy, and affordable food. The big one for me that I was disheartened to learn about was the 15-year life expectancy gap from Troost is kind of a dividing line in our city to the more affluent neighborhoods. But we see numbers like this all the time, and I think we can get lost in it. We can forget that these are people. These are individuals living in our communities that are struggling every day. They're going to work. They're trying to do their best to put food on the table. But it's just not there. It's inaccessible. It means an extra 45 minutes on a bus to pick up something that you can only grab one bag because you got to carry it back on the bus with you to get home. It means having to choose between buying healthy food for your family or paying for your utility bills or paying for the medicine you might need. And it's just not right. We can do something. We can be better about it. We have the resources today to fix this problem. And that's kind of where we at Kanbe's have developed a model that I see works within our existing food system, which right now, as I see it, the two big ways that people get food are the supermarket model and the convenience stores that exist in these communities. All too often, as I hear about this issue, I feel like the supermarkets are vilified for not doing enough. And I kind of want to champion and congratulate them for what they have done. And that model has done an incredible job of making food more accessible and more affordable to most people. So for 85% of the country, the supermarket model works incredibly well and has done an amazing job for all of us. The issue is the people that fell through the cracks, the people that big supermarket can't support. So we talk about, and on the slides you'll see, I see the difference between the supermarkets and the convenience stores is kind of that scale. That at scale, supermarkets are able to offer better prices. They're able to offer everything you need under one roof. But on the other side, that means they're really big. They take a long time to open. They're really expensive to maintain and staff. We're on the opposite side of the scale. We have the convenience stores that can't then compete on price because they're not ordering food at the same scale. They don't have the same resources to develop and market and brand like you see in all those great products downstairs that the big stores might be able to do. But they are more affordable. They're more affordable to open. They're easier to run and staff. They don't have the same kind of overhead. And they also bring with them a community connection that we lose in a lot of big box stores today. I think is really valuable, especially as you're trying to bring back things like fresh produce that have been missing from these communities for a long time. And so having a store owner that recognizes each and one of their customers as they come in the door is incredibly valuable. And a big part of the reason what we do is partner with those already existing stores. So rather than build our own small convenience store, even though I like that model better, I'd rather support the already existing stores that are in these communities. The people that live there, that know their shoppers, that know the people that are coming into their store each and every day, and they can tell me how to best serve them. And so that's kind of what we do. So our model is to bring in coolers or merchandisers for the stores. We pay for that. And all produce, what we're focusing on right now is fresh, uncut produce. We bring that in, we take inventory of it, we merchandise it, we set prices, so the stores don't have to do a thing. All the produce is brought in on consignment. If you're a regular shopper, you come in, you would grab your cucumbers along with anything else you might be shopping for regularly. You go up to the register and buy it just like anything else. So for the store owners, it's a really easy option that there's really not a lot of risk for them. And right now, so the way this kind of works and moving through, we source our product from basically anywhere we can. So for large wholesalers in Kansas City, we offer another outlet for number 2 product or product that maybe the other supermarkets weren't going to accept. They can sell it to us at either a discounted price or we get a lot of it donated altogether. So that instead of having to pay to have it thrown out, we'll take it and they can actually get a tax write-off for that. For local farmers, as Sarah said, we're moving now 20,000 pounds of fresh produce a month, and some of the smaller local farms are growing only about 13,000 pounds of fresh produce for the year. So we are already to a scale where we can offer this safety net, as I'm calling it when we work together, in that I still encourage the local organic heirloom producers to go to the supermarkets and restaurants and get top dollar for their product. But we're there now, and I can buy everything else. So we are working with smaller growers and saying, this is what we could handle on a weekly or monthly basis. If you plant for that, sell what you can, get as much as you can, but we'll be there for you for anything else that you might not be able to move. And as we've had smaller growers grow into more established farms, we also have a relationship with some of the bigger distributors, and we can help make that next connection. Next step, the distribution. As I said, we work with the small, already existing corner convenience stores in these communities and the relationship they have with the neighborhood. It only costs us about $2,500 for the cooler and stands that we use to set up our displays. So it's really easy to grow really quickly. As you'll see later, we really only started this past February with 4 locations, and we've grown a bit since then. But to complete this kind of sustainability side of things, we talk about waste a lot, and as I said in the first slide, it's one of the biggest issues in our food system. But we don't have people that every day, you and I are not going to our supermarket, we aren't going over to our grocers, we aren't going to the distributors in our neighborhoods and helping them sort produce. We're not helping them keep things out of landfills. But as a nonprofit, as somebody who is marketing our company in that kind of way, people are coming to us. So when we get product that was donated from one of those distributors that might not be all great things that I would be proud to put on our shelves, we have volunteers that come in and help us sort the good from the bad. So whatever we do end up having to get rid of, we're able to, for example, strawberries, we pull out of the clamshells so that only the strawberries are going, and they go back to the same farmers that we were working with to buy from. So they're composting that on their farms. The plastic, we have people recycling. The cardboard gets recycled. So as I say, we're moving around 6,000 pounds of produce a month, and I fill less than 1 trash can of actual trash every week, or weekly, 6,000 pounds of produce each week, and I fill less than 1 trash can with actual trash in it. And this is what it kind of looks like. So in Kansas City, the map you see is our current USDA marked food deserts. The 2 lines you'll see there, the black line is the nicer neighborhoods I was talking about. The red line is less than 2 miles away, and there's a 15-year gap in life expectancy. And that's not due to violence, it's due to health. It's due to people not having access to fresh, healthy foods. And the pictures you see there are what we bring to the stores. So those are actual coolers that we have set up currently in partner stores that, like I said, cost only about $2,500 to get set up and going. And we bring in and restock all the produce. We set prices. We do everything for the store owner. So there really is no risk. Last year was our first year really delivering on this model. We started in February with 4 locations. This is actually now outdated. So since I sent the presentation to Fancy Food, we're now delivering to 10 stores. The original 4 stores each made an additional $10,000 last year. So that's money that they don't owe anybody. It's revenue that they didn't have to put any money out for. It was just a new line of products that they're able to put in. And for a lot of our stores, that's their rent covered. We at the end of the year, moved a little over 250,000 pounds of fresh produce and helped get food to a little over 5,000 people. So it was a really exciting first year going. And I was able to do most of this by myself. So we did not hire anybody until last September when we brought on a part-time driver. So the scale and sustainability of this model really goes to show, since I was having to do all of the grant writing and marketing and branding and outreach and sourcing the product, getting rid of the product, stocking the stores, rotating, and we were still able to get quite a bit accomplished. My goals for this year are a little bit more exciting. Like I said, we're in 10 stores now. I think 30 is really, really possible. And with that, we could be moving 60,000 pounds of fresh produce per month, which is a really great safety net for those small local farmers. And on the other side, it could be a really nice tax write-off for the distributors. Our goal as we grow sales, it would be about $15,000 in additional revenue per store, and maybe 20,000 people with access. And this really goes to talk about the potential. So in Kansas City, in just the Missouri side, if you're not familiar with Kansas City, Missouri, there's Kansas and Missouri. So on just the Missouri side, I say a potential of 300 locations. There's actually 669 of these stores currently open in these communities. The numbers you see there, that 7.7 million in revenue, that would be at our current rate, which is no marketing. I don't have any signage out front of our stores right now. Everybody that's come in and shopped with us has come in to buy a bag of chips, seen the bag of grapes that's sitting there, and changed their mind. The 23 million is, I think, a little closer to what it would actually be with the appropriate organization and marketing behind it. And that also means we would need about 60 people to do the driving and warehouse supply management working for us. So those are really great entry-level jobs for people in the community. And on the other end of it, the 300 partner stores we'd be working with, making that kind of additional revenue could mean hundreds of jobs in those neighborhoods for people living in, right around the stores. For our partner wholesalers and distributors, that could mean $15 million or 15 million pounds of food that they're no longer having to throw away, but can actually get a tax write-off and help get into the right people's hands. And according to Feeding America right now, food donations are going at about $1.67 a pound. So that adds up. And the 15 million is at our current, the 15 million would match with that 7.7 in revenue, where the 62 million there I'm talking about is more to match up what I think we really could be doing with the appropriate marketing. And this, like I said, this problem exists in every major city across the country. The maps we get really go from below average is still at 9% of the cities still without access to fresh, healthy, and affordable food, all the way to the red go above 15, 16, 17% of the people without access. So there's millions of people right now all across the country that are struggling to put good food on their table when they don't have to be. that we can fix this problem. And that's really transitioning into what we believe at Kanbe's and what I believe, and what has driven me to this point is that I didn't get into this to start a nonprofit. I don't want to run a charity. I got into this because I believe this is a fixable problem, and that this model is the way that we do that. And so I really appreciate you giving me the time and sitting here and listening to my little spiel. But that's what I've got for you today, and I guess I'd pass it on to Sarah.